welcome to Lockdown Lunch with me, Kelly Ransom. I actually know how long I've been doing this now because it's May 1st, and I started this on April 1st. So this is the 1 month anniversary of this stupid fever dream broadcast. So if you've been watching every episode, good job. You've stuck with me for a month. You're insane. For those of you who are new, I started this because I needed an excuse to get dressed in the morning. I'm working from home, and sometimes you just want to stay in your sweatpants. So I started this so I would stay dressed and showered, and to invite my friends on to share their experiences of their lockdown time. And we're going to put it all in a YouTube time capsule and look at it back at it in 10 years, and we're all going to laugh, hopefully, right? Well, today I have a very special guest. He's in Boston, so our out-of-state experience time is over now. Thank you to all of those who joined from out of state. I would like to introduce all of you to the fabulous Asad James Hardwick. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
This is as good as it gets.
I hear you. I don't know why I'm nervous, Kelly. I'm so nervous at the Lockdown Lunch. It feels.
God should absolutely not be nervous.
Thank you for having
because
me.
He's an AV production support, and he's the technical director at Hibernian Hall, where I work. So we talk to each other all the time. So he should not be nervous. You got this.
Right.
I have to know. What day is it? I know I said the date, but what day is it?
I learned this morning that it's Friday, and that's because I set an alarm for this to take place. But if it wasn't for the alert, I don't think I would have realized. I feel like every day is one long day just being in the house. But now today is Friday. I got the alert that this is what I have going on today.
That's the best news that you could give me. Is that it's Friday.
Does it feel different than Monday, or will it feel different tomorrow?
Let's pretend.
Alrighty.
No, every day pretty much does feel the same, unfortunately. But I'm sure we're all learning a very important lesson from all of this.
Right.
So, Asad, how long have you been locked down?
So I remember it was about March 15th, I want to say, and I'm looking at my calendar and like all the projects and productions that I have going on for like the next 4 months. They were just dropping like flies, and I'm just like this is real. Like this is really happening. It's really happening. And so I gotta say March 15th to now we're about almost at the 2-month mark. And
It's been so long. I haven't seen Asad in person in like 3 months.
Right. And I'm not used to that because I'm used to human engagement when working or working on projects, and it's just like I've been in these 4 walls or this one house trying to still produce at the same level and still trying to remain productive, but it's almost like and again, you went through that wave where it's like, okay, I'm doing nothing for a while. This is a break. And then you're like, no, I can't do this. I have to answer my pants.
Do you live with people or?
Well, right now it's just my father and my cousin and I in the South. Okay. So we are here in Boston.
Your new coworkers.
Right. My new everything. My new coworkers, my new friends, my new reacquainted family. And then it's funny because when I'm stuck in here, now we're getting to love each other in different ways. Right now, we're each other's therapists, we're each other's social circle, we're each other's chef, we're each other's doctor. It's crazy. And then you get the cabin fever, and then I got to leave. I'm like, okay, I need to go for a walk.
It's too much. You're doing that.
Right. I love my dad and all, but this is getting crazy.
I get it. So you have to work from home. And how have you adapted? Because what you do is so out there in public and hands-on with production. How have you adapted to working from home?
So the biggest thing is remembering, like, every production that we do and every production that I work on, it's for people, it's for an audience. So the first question is how do we still become accessible and visible to audiences? Okay, we have this cool thing today, the internet and video cameras and these online platforms that we can put
Right.
the art on, right? So then the next thing is how do we bring the art to these cameras while honoring and respecting the social distancing, right?
Yeah.
So it's been a challenge. So which artists, are willing to get on the camera and try to transfer their skill, their talent, their creativeness to this online browser. So, and again, the beginning was a little hard because we spent a lot of time convincing artists like this is what needs to happen. They're like, no, we're just gonna wait. We're just
Yeah.
gonna
We're
wait.
just gonna wait.
Like I need to be in person. People need to feel me and touch me and the whole personalized experience.
I got it.
But then it took some time and then people were like, okay, this is not it's not going anywhere anytime fast. So we have a few people who've been willing to say, okay, let's try this online concert, let's try this online acting scene, right?
Yeah.
And the online platforms that allow us to like video chat like the one we're on now. We're finding cool ways to do things. We have a playwriting series coming up, right?
Yeah, that's
And
gonna be cool.
right. And one of the cool ways that we've done it is we take a picture of a scene. So one of the scene takes place in a farm.
Okay.
We cut the picture in half. I give you the left side of the picture. We give me the right side of the picture. And if you and I turn our heads right now, right, it can
Oh, wait.
almost be like we're arguing in the same room, whichever way we got to turn, right?
I
And
always
it's
get
just
thrown
like,
off because it's like opposite.
right, right. So, and that's just one example of how we're trying to transfer, art here.
That's
We
pretty
have,
genius.
yeah. And again, and one other one was we have this segment where we have singers and it's sort of like the Brady Bunch split cameras. It's like
Oh
a
yeah.
grid, but where we're in rehearsal, we're practicing when to look up. So, and the other person looks down and how to engage with each other. And then we put it here. So yeah, it's been a lot of work, with the, like building any relationship, you go through the storming and the
Right.
forming and the norming, right? So convincing the artist and then showing the artist what's going on, and then how do we adapt, and then bringing it all together for a production online for people to appreciate.
And there's so many other things that take place in the back end, like the artist needs the equipment.
Right,
They don't
right.
necessarily have that, and some people have not used technology before, and they're struggling with that. Like, it's a lot of learning.
And it's funny because it's like I didn't realize how much I grew up with technology.
Right.
Even with the shift from analog to digital, I didn't realize how much I grew up with technology. So when I'm speaking to some of the artists that are, a little bit greater than it's almost like, what do you mean? What is a FaceTime?
Right.
Oh, okay. Like, excuse me. Like I wasn't
I
looking to
know. I
insult
know.
you. I really didn't know it to. So we run into that a lot. And then for the artists that, may not have the technology, we found ways and resources to say, hey, I'm going to drop it off at this time. Just run outside, pick up the bag. I'm
Yeah.
not pulling off until you pick it up. And now we can make sure you have what you need. And then for the artists that are maybe outside of the New England area, we found other ways to provide them with some technology also.
You work in Roxbury with me, but you have other projects and clients that are all
Right.
over.
That are all over. Yeah. And
Do you mostly operate in the East Coast, or are you?
so I mostly do East Coast and then West. Like I haven't really got a lot of the middle, but everything from Maine to Florida, we have like we're supporting productions or displaying art and it's been great.
That's
Um
awesome.
yeah, so when we say we need artists to get online and do this, it's like I should probably spend 3 weeks trying to find the people that's gonna say okay.
Right.
Trying to say right.
So be honest with me.
Okay.
Do you like these digital events and productions? Like, do you
Um
like doing them?
so it's not a matter if I like it. it's just different. And it
Okay.
really depends on what's going on. I'm huge on like the quality of like the sound and the
Yeah.
look. So I have to be able to accept the compromise, right? Like even right now, we don't sound as, as good as we
Is your
can.
ear twitching?
Right. And so it's almost like then when I'm when I spend a majority of my career where I'm responsible for the quality of sound or the visual, it's weird when I have to accept that I don't have any control of this.
Right.
It's really dependent on how your computer sounds at home that says how great it sounds on your end. Right. Only
That's
thing
it.
I'm really responsible right. Only thing I'm really responsible is the quality of the recording and the video that I can give to you. Yeah, I mean, and again, there for if I'm making like a video that's sent home to be like a movie, that's a little different. But in terms of the online live performances, it's like yeah, we lose control there.
Yeah. Well, I've seen some really like big artists and like high level events that have been live since this all went down, and even they're like not doing so great. And like
Right. And
so
I've been seeing like a lot of artists get on their own personal platforms, like John Legend, right? He did a Instagram live concert and just rocked it. But again, when he was finished, he did this whole disclaimer like, the quality of sound was not what we normally do. And so it does hurt a little bit. So, and again, I don't think it's really a matter of me liking. I think it's just trying to accept what we have.
oh, my cat wants to say hi. Hi, Pickle.
Hello. What is the cat's name?
This is Pickle. She
What's up,
sometimes
Pickle?
loves being on screen.
Okay.
Right. Bye. She's wicked annoying. She's one of my coworkers. So how have you been dealing with projects being canceled? Are they like flat out canceled? Are they postponed? Are you reimagining them? Or
It's so the hardest part at the beginning was communicating to people like, this doesn't look like it's happening.
right?
And again,
I feel that.
at the beginning, it was almost like it wasn't real to everyone,
Yeah.
right? So when we had the messages while we had it early, they was like, what do you mean? Like, well, if they're saying we can have a small crowd, can we have a small audience? But then it was like the
And
timing was almost perfect where like things were gradually closing down and then people who didn't believe us when we said it's not going to be able to happen, that's when they got the support from the media and the news and their
yeah,
communities like yeah, this is going to have to lock down. But then the other part is that portion of time before I got the spark to I got to get this online again. It was almost depressing. It was very like
oh,
what
it
do I
was.
do? I was sitting there like a hard knocks life, looking out the window for 5 days, with sad music in my ears.
Yeah, no, it was really hard in the beginning. I mean, it's still hard. It's gonna
Right,
continue to be hard, but it was hard in the beginning as someone who does events, knowing this isn't gonna happen, but the news hadn't really caught up yet.
right,
And really just like some clients, like I had to go through like a grieving process with them because they just couldn't, they had to like
right,
mourn the loss that it was going to happen. And that's gotten better now.
right. And
We're
I,
kind of accepted it, but yeah, it was depressing. I don't know. I'm kind of over the depressing part though.
and my depressing part was so bad. So I called my best friend Kim up, and I'm like, Kim, I'm about to apply to a job. I'm about to go do security overnight or get an overnight gig. And she's like, as a matter of fact, why aren't you figuring out how to get this stuff online? And then
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you mean online? And she's like, yo, you're 29. What are you talking about? And I'm like, wait, you're right. So I literally took like 2 days and I thought about it. And then, with what happens at MPDC, we're having those conversations. I'm like, okay, there's a lot of media that can still be developed and created. And so I guess I can work, right? I guess I can work.
To the
And so
future.
right, and it's great. And so again, I don't think it's gotten any easier. I just think our confidence, even like everyone, I think everyone's confidence has increased in response to what's going on. So it was great.
Oh my God.
And I
Yeah, no, I mean, I knew it was gonna have to change. So honestly, I started this broadcast for multiple reasons to keep me, mentally okay,
right.
to do something different, and to I really had to learn. I'm still learning every broadcast how to do all this because I know that even I don't do AV production, but I do event production, and I'm
Right.
going to have to know how to function in this new digital virtual bullshit world.
What you're doing amazing. I am proud of your platform.
I'm sure
I've watched
your
three
setup would be
episodes.
way better.
Right. I've watched 3 episodes, by the way. I have watched 3
Thank
episodes.
you.
They're popping. I like them.
I just keep saying that it's a cabin fever. Like,
See, and it's funny because it's almost like working at home is a little bit harder than working in these other environments because
harder, I think.
right, 50% of the job is staying focused and not distracting and right, like even this is the lockdown lunch, but this is the 1 hour I'm not eating. I promise anytime around 12 I'm eating. From the time I wake up to the time I go to sleep, I keep finding excuses to go to the fridge, to make a phone call, check Instagram, and it's just like this is tough. This is
Yeah.
tough. But no, yeah, your platform's dope, and I think this is
I can't wait to
great.
adapt it for our future projects.
Right, right.
So, I know there's everyone's doing Zoom, and I don't know. I think we're in the infant stages of virtual events, concerts. I don't even know how filmmaking would work.
Right.
But what are some ideas, or what are some directions you've seen other people in your field going in to make this, their events and productions better than a Zoom meeting?
Right. And again, I might not have the right answer, but
There's no right answer.
my opinion, right, my opinion is I think if
Yeah.
we're talking even just filmmaking, right? Everyone who is thinking about making a movie or planning to make a movie starting anytime within this pandemic, right? Who have planned it from last year, that's canceled, right? So I think we'll see a lot more animation being released towards 2021 and on. And those movies were shot during this time, right? So I think we'll see a lot of animation due to the fact that those movies aren't made in just one place, right? You can record in Boston, I can record my voiceover in New York. Boom. So I think we'll see a lot more animation in terms of filmmaking. I think we'll see in terms of events. I'm not sure how the bigger venues that hold the 360 people like Hibernian Hall are going to be like the go-to anymore. I think we're going to start seeing more of those intimate places get more love now because we want smaller crowds, right? Or if they do use a big function hall, it's because we have enough space to have small crowds with social distancing.
Yeah.
But assuming social distancing cancels out and we're like, hey, we're just not going to gather in large groups anymore, I think those smaller venues that you find on like Peerspace for smaller mixers and events, I think those are going to really hit now because I think once this is over, it's going to be time before people build the confidence to meet, right?
For sure.
And then even in theater world, right? It depending on the production, a lot of people would vary in how big they want their audience. I can imagine to save any chance of cancellation, more people in the theater community are going to want to just have crowds of maybe under 100. Like
it's kind of cool. It's kind of depressing, but it's a new, interesting take.
And again, so I think that's gonna budgets are gonna be a little bit smaller when anticipating like how much am I gonna make off this event or how much am I gonna make off this show because now the ticket sales are a little bit shorter in numbers if we're talking with a gradual return. Maybe in a year's time after we open, we'll be back to normal. I don't know, but if we're responding to the gradual opening, it's almost like prepare for small.
Yeah.
Prepare for small.
Did you happen to catch any of the National Tourism Board released their report on all of this?
No, I haven't.
It was super depressing.
Oh God.
They're saying that no large events, sporting events, concerts until fall 2021.
Oh yeah, yeah. So Live Nation, I work with Live Nation sometime on their concerts. All of their concerts are closed until the end of winter of 2021.
Oh my God.
Right. And they have concerts literally every day all through the world. So they're canceled. And so then even when you think about like what does this mean for artists that let's say you're a singer and
Right.
you're signed to a bigger label, you make a lot of your money on the tour side, right?
Right.
You can't tour, or you just can't tour in these big venues. So now the guys that were doing the coffee shop tours, they're actually gonna prevail right now, right? It may not be the move to be
Right.
that huge artist that makes $1 million off tours because that's slow for you right now.
I mean, honestly, thinking about it now, I might be willing to pay a pretty penny. I mean, not right now. We're all kind of in save our pennies mode. But in the future, if it became a
Right.
trend where I could see one of my favorite artists in an intimate setting in a really small crowd, I might be willing to buy a ticket to that.
See, and but I also think digital concerts are
Yeah.
going to become a thing, like huge, huge,
Yep.
huge, but not to the extent that we're doing them now. Well, like again, we're doing social, we're doing concerts through like the Zoom and the online thing live the way we're doing it now because of social distancing. Once
Right.
that's out and we're able to once that's done, and like again we're opening back up, I think people are still going to gravitate towards doing the digital concerts and
Yeah.
just finding a way to make it on demand. And people will have the same live experience. It's just, you're not in person.
Have you gone
Travis,
to any since this is? Have you watched any since this has
yep.
happened?
So Travis Scott, my cousin plays Fortnite. For all Fortnite
Oh yeah, he
players,
did that thing. Yeah, I heard about
he did the digital concert through Fortnite, but it was like wow, like and then again, the quality of show depends on the quality of the technology you have in your home.
that.
So if
Right.
you're playing the game on a screen the size of this laptop, then that's what you get. If you have it on some 20-inch television, you're like, oh my God. But I
Yeah.
can imagine artists, continuing and doing that in various ways and then just making them on demand. Because you still get paid for the view, you
Right.
know.
We
It's just
watched
it's not in person.
we watched Post Malone's Nirvana tribute. I'm not
Okay.
a Post Malone fan, but I am a huge Nirvana fan. And
Wow.
the way that they did, everyone was like separated, and
See.
it was actually really well done. I don't know how they did it with the camera cuts and stuff, but it was all done in like a house. But it was also like a compromise of like this is as good as it's gonna get for me right now. So I'm just
Right,
gonna
right,
like,
right.
have my
And within
drink,
it,
hang out with Chris, and fucking watch
right.
this
And
guy singing in his pajamas.
see, and so right now, we have a concert coming up on May 29th by
Yeah,
the
how's
artist.
that gonna go?
Yeah, so and it's not going to be as cool as in terms of effects. It's not going to be as cool, but I think the show is going to be just as great, just because she's great. Her music is amazing. Her name's T-Mar. uh, May 29th, and she's going to perform a lot of her music. She's actually signed to Issa Rae, and she does the soundtrack for Insecure.
Oh wow.
Yeah, yeah. So the music when you hear Insecure, it's a lot of the Insecure soundtrack is T-Mar. She's really dope. She's from Boston. She's from Boston,
Is she doing it from
and
her house, or how is that working?
yeah, so she's gonna do it from her house. We're gonna set up technology. She's gonna have it on Facebook Live, her Instagram, and then on YouTube.
That's
So the
gonna be
live
cool.
performance is the 29th, and then it'll be available for on demand, I think like the second week of June.
That's good. I can't wait to see how it's all gonna
Yeah. I
happen.
am
Have you had to learn any new skills to adapt to all this? I mean, you
yeah,
were doing like AV stuff, so maybe you didn't.
nah, so the not not necessarily skills, but approach. So
Oh, that's a really great way of putting it.
now I'm looking to, all the concerts that I would normally have in whatever amount of time. Now I want to see which concerts can we actually make online. So even
Right,
if it's a situation where we're at Hibernian Hall or another venue, right?
right.
With no audience members, can we still put on an amazing show and get it available to, the streaming platforms,
I bet
right?
you
No audience, right? So it's like I can still design lights and still make effects and then see how it manipulates on cameras. I can still put a green screen behind them and we can
right.
do a whole bunch of cool things that we probably wouldn't be able to do if the audience was in person. So just bringing it online is my biggest project,
I think
now
you're
and
gonna thrive in
everything.
this scenario, honestly.
Say that again.
It sounds like you're gonna thrive in this scenario.
Oh man, I'm learning every day, Kelly. Like I'm up late because the people I'm learning from, they're on the West Coast. So they're
Right.
3 hours behind. So they start their class at like 7 and here it's 10 o'clock.
Ugh.
So 11, 12, 1, I'm done at 1 a.m. and they're done at 10. So it's like trying to learn to really make a full production available online has been crazy.
Well,
Yep,
at
yep.
least you have some time.
Right, right, right.
Watching, she says hi.
Oh, what's up? What's up? And uh hopefully I can put on my own, by the beginning of 2021, regardless of the state we're in at that point. I still want to be able to just produce my own online concert or show and say, hey guys, here it is.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, like if I want to be positive too,
Right,
it's more accessible that
right.
the show or the event online for a multitude of reasons. Like you don't live near there, or you couldn't make it, so you want to watch it later. Like there's going to be more of a possible reach
Right, right.
people, which is a really nice thing that I never really have thought about before. It's either like, oh, you can either make it or you can't,
So,
and that's that. But
right.
now it's adapting. I don't know. I think it will be nice. I hope.
And I don't really have a great read on like what happens with events, because like concerts and movies, we have that covered on what happens. I'm trying to still study like what do we do with events and what experience, even if I understand we can do like a lot of free stuff, but in terms of like monetizing, like what experience can you provide to somebody for an event, right? And then still get a ticket price out of them. I don't know.
I'm learning every. She says hi. Hi, Bea. Miss you.
Oh, what's up, babe? How are you?
And Ashley Gordon, our friend Ashley Gordon. Hi.
Ash.
Yeah. Events is blowing. Like the reason that I asked you earlier, if you like, to be honest, if you like this, is because like I'm not liking it. Like I know I was actually doing the math today when I was like doing my hair because I just kept saying 15 years, 15 years. I've done events for 15 years, but then I was like, I've gotten older and I've been saying that number for a while. So let me do it. I was like, okay, I've been doing events for 18 years, which is like disgusting to think about. I don't know how I'm still alive.
Right.
And to be doing something for that long and the high that you get from it.
Right.
It's like an adrenaline rush. I'm definitely addicted to it. And this whole new thing, and I don't know, I'm not feeling it. I know I have to adapt and learn and make it so, but it doesn't mean I have to like fall in love with it yet. I'm gonna have to learn to love it.
And I was having this conversation with one of the actors that we work with often, Brandon Homer, and it's almost like when I do an event or production, right? When you're in the person and you're doing these and you're working, you meet 3 more clients, right? You get 3 new offers, at least 3 when you're in that person. And so the analogy he gave me was you have to treat technology sort of like religion, and please forgive me. You have to be faithful. So like if I do a great job on this web thing that I'm producing, right?
Yeah.
And one of the viewers appreciates it. Hopefully you still get the same poke in contact when they see who produced it. And maybe in your email or on your Instagram or on whatever inbox you have, somebody comes out of nowhere and says, hey, how can we do this again? Or, hey, this is what I'm working on. Can you bring my art here? So it's he's saying, so and again, I'm the guy. I do one concert. When I leave that concert, I probably got 5 new gig offers. So
Yeah,
he's saying I have to trust in the technology that the same thing's going to happen as long as it's done right, and my contact information is just as visible and accessible
yeah,
as the art itself. So I'm being faithful, and I'm being hopeful that
it's
that
super
that's what
positive.
happens within technology. So
You're
you
far
know,
more positive than
I
I
don't. Right.
am.
And we don't necessarily control that, right? Like I can walk up to someone and say, hey, he works in this industry. This is what we're going to do, right? But he's
Right,
saying, just hope that when you do that, somebody has to come and now poke you.
right.
So,
I think the it hasn't happened yet. I haven't really done a full scale event. I'm taking my little vacation at the end of May to like reboot my brain to like do this and really put my heart into it. But not right now, not yet. But I keep thinking when I'm running an event or I'm at an event, I know if it sucks or I know if there's a problem because I can feel the energy in the room. I can see
right,
how people are get the looks in their faces. I can hear the little comments. You know, I can. Oh, the light's too bright. Oh, the music's too loud. Oh, the food is. I guess we're not gonna have to worry about food, but like
right.
how
Yeah,
how am I
that's
supposed to do
that's tough.
that?
And to take that experience away from me, I can only imagine it's like, yo, you're stripping me of everything I have, right? Because those are the things that in person you can respond to and optimize, right? It's
Right,
too
I can
cold in here. Turn
fix
the
it.
heat up, right? It's you can fix it. So yeah, I rarely haven't even created any kind of theory, then just pray for the people to participate when we are able to go in person, or if you do something online, like pray that people participate and
And get
maybe
feedback.
right.
Like
So
honestly, if I've always been like this with everything that I do. It doesn't matter if it's an event, a project, anything. If something sucks, tell me,
right.
please.
No, no, absolutely. Absolutely.
Like
No, no, I will.
I have no feelings whatsoever about it. Like
Right.
it's I actually prefer getting like negative. Someone once told me never say negative feedback, but
Well, like what do we call it? Oh,
room for
constructive.
improvement.
Oh, room for improvement. Okay.
But like
Okay.
I thrive on that because it pushes me to go harder. But
Right. And see, and then it also, I think the other thing is what is the industry it tailors to. And when I say that, I mean, so there's a mentor of mine, Cooper James, and he, all of his events either incorporate dance or fitness, right? And he's a DJ, he's an amazing DJ. But I've seen the things that he's doing. And again, whether it's a big Zoom call or it's an Instagram
yeah,
live or some interactive thing, right? He still has his music going. You can access his playlist and he's literally still doing the choreography or the workouts, right? And he can still get the people to say, hey, I'm tired. And he's like, yo, keep working. You got it, right? So that's not an event that necessarily that we're talking about, but it's almost like I
no,
guess it depends on what you're doing.
it's a good
Um,
example.
when I'm doing the studying about how to transfer art to be more accessible online or producing something to put online, right? Like it's a webinar, so I'm still engaging with the teacher. So that's another right, but
Right.
what I still want to find the right answer for are like the mixers, the socials,
Yeah.
the right, the receptions,
The
right? Like
decor. Oh,
right,
the
and that's
decor.
and
What am I gonna do?
how do we cheers? Like, are we gonna?
Yeah, well, that's what I've been doing with people online. I've just been like, oh, here,
Right.
yay, we're having
And
so much fun.
listen, man, it's nuts.
So
It's
we
nuts.
talked so much about events. I want to talk about you.
Okay. About
What
me.
would you be doing if this was a normal Friday?
I would be trying to produce some kind of media still. Like
Just
I
kidding. Your life's the same. No.
so I probably start a new project and end one probably every couple of days. Whether if it's successful, we keep pushing and we finish. If not, I'm just gonna keep going. right? And that's whether it's work, like for Hibernian, or it's for a client, or if it's not for one of the entities I'm working with, it's for me, and it's how I stay sharp with it. Or I'd be in the gym, and I gotta tell you, I haven't worked out
Oh
at
yeah,
all
how's your
since.
knee?
Oh my, I'm recovering. I'm recovering. I can't play basketball anymore. Sadly, now it's probably a fair game for the rest of the people that play against me. One knee. Um, and but or if I wasn't working on some media stuff, I'd be working out. But again, and it's crazy because again, the beginning of this, it was like I was on medical leave.
Right.
I
And
came
you
back
were
to
ready
work for
like
two
going for
weeks. Right. Came back to work for 2 weeks, and then pandemic hit, and then it's like, gosh, uh, they don't want me to be great.
it. No,
No, I'm joking. But
I think a lot
so
of
a
people
lot.
feel that way right now, though.
Right,
Probably
right. So
just getting constantly beaten down. Yay,
mm,
2020.
oh my gosh. And the year felt so great coming in. I was sleeping.
I was ready. I was like going to therapy, drinking water,
Right,
writing. Uh,
right,
it was just like
right.
laugh.
So
What's the first thing that you're gonna do when you're done with this? That you can't do now, or one of the first things?
I'm going to I really would love to go see a live basketball game. Like, no matter what level it can be high school, it can be middle school, it can
Anything?
be AAU, it can be NBA, college, I don't care. I just want to go and watch some live basketball. Like, go find out what game is playing or taking place, and I'm gonna just sit there and literally take it all in. Like, that's gonna be amazing. But and again, even for the basketball leagues like around the country, they're not saying good things right now.
No.
They're saying the tournaments that we have scheduled in July is canceled. They've already canceled those. So we don't know when that's going to take place. But I am a basketball junkie. Like, I can just watch it all day, all day. So
Hopefully they can start doing it without crowds or something.
right,
I don't know.
yeah, I don't know either.
I just saw
So,
this morning. Not that, I mean, I guess it's horse racing as a sport, right? Kind of.
all right,
I know
yeah,
it's
of course.
but they're doing the Kentucky Derby tomorrow with like an algorithm fake horse race.
And I don't trust those.
And people
I
are
I
betting
know.
on it.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking. They a lot of the newer arcades have been showing like the demo of that for some time now, and I'm surprised that they're taking that on for the professional. It's just
I heard
like,
that. I was like, that sounds so dumb.
and the craziest part about it though, and it's man, it's controlled by man. So I
Right,
don't know why I can press a an Excel formula and pick which horse I want to win.
right.
So I don't know.
It
Yeah,
makes make people happy, I guess.
right. It's just running a graph and then
Whatever.
picking me up and then yeah.
So, basketball's not on. What have you been consuming for media during all of this that you might recommend to people watching?
That I would recommend to people watching.
TV,
Um,
books, music, podcasts.
I've been I've been watching like a lot of old movies, like uh of different genres. Like this morning, I was watching the Three Ninjas, a kids movie from the early '90s.
Oh,
Right. The
good
other
choice.
day, yeah, the other day I was watching a movie called Strapped, which is also from the early '80s. So I've been watching like a lot of older movies, and again, it's cool to see. And then of course I'm not watching that all day long, but then when I go to turn on Netflix and you just see the growth, it's bananas. And then the newest movie I watched on Netflix. It's not a plug. I don't work for Netflix, but the newest movie I've been watching on Netflix is Extraction.
Okay, I
I
don't.
Yeah, it's one of those, it's an action movie, with the hot muscle guy saving the world. It was actually a good watch. It was a good watch.
I'm still
Extraction.
slowly watching Ozark, but that's
See,
about it.
and then the other thing I've watched, I've caught up on like I'm not big on like just watching shows,
Yeah, me
but
neither.
I watch Shameless, and
Okay, I've never got into that, but people have told me I would love it.
it's amazing. And the thing is, it literally gets better and better and better every season. And
Which is
I'm just
rare,
like, right. It normally the other way around, but
right?
you know, Shameless was like probably it's grown to the top of my list of the shows that
How
I
many
have
seasons
watched.
is it?
I think it's four. I could be wrong. Six. I
Oh,
don't
God.
remember. It's either four or six. And I know someone's probably watching. It's like, dude, it's eight. And I'm just, I don't know. But it's, I know that I sat and watched Shameless. It was really funny. Like they did a great job.
Back of my mind because I've had so many people tell me to watch it and that there's some character on there that I'm similar to, and
You know,
I
and the thing,
haven't gotten to it, but
and it's,
it's a Showtime show, right?
yeah.
So I
And
always
it's,
think of. Sorry, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, and it's great just because it's intentional. Like everything in it, it's like it's a different message. Whether we're talking about inclusion, whether we're talking racism, whether we're talking about economic differences and classism, it's very intentional with such satire, dry humor, and just the most profane way to deliver it. Like it's really good, and I'm just like, no, they did a great job. And
Melvin
I'm
Murphy
first,
for the eighth
right?
season.
And I'm first to who said that?
Melvin Murphy.
Oh, he said this 18. Yeah, see, I didn't know, but
8 seasons of Shameless. I get to watch now.
right, and I'm the first to say something is trash, and that was a good show. It was.
I've been so weary of Showtime shows because I was obsessed with Weeds.
Okay,
I love that. I don't know if you ever
okay.
watched it, but oh my God, did it end up sucking.
How many seasons?
I want to say there was 4, but again, someone's going to correct me and tell me it was like 7. I don't
All
know.
right. See, and I'm
Oh
a
God, I was so disappointed with how that show ended and like carried on.
see. I'm familiar with. I just never watched it. I never watched it, but I do know what it is. I've seen the ads. I've seen the commercials. Never watched it.
It was one of my favorite shows until I don't know, maybe the second to last season, it just started to get like, I don't know, Showtime. And then I used to watch Homeland, which also got weird and
That's a
creepy
good.
in like the 3rd season. I'm like, Showtime, what the hell? Like,
Yeah, nah.
whole plot.
Shameless. They only got better. They did great. So what do you
That's a great recommendation. And there's plenty of episodes to keep people busy for the next like month.
right, right. What do you do
So,
around work to keep yourself
yeah,
sane?
when you're not working.
Like, what do you do?
Every guest this because I think it's really important to talk about. And I do this for my mental health, but I like to know what other people are doing or are not doing for their mental health during all of this. So if you'd like to share.
Oh, like what do I do
Yeah,
around?
for
Oh, okay.
yourself.
Um, I made and not being able to hit the gym. I made it a goal to I do a walk around the Charles,
Nice. That's
and
like a walk.
yeah. But and again, they have like 1,000 bridges, so you can pick when you want to quit. So
Yeah.
right, if I want to do a little bit better, I'll cross at the next bridge. I'll cross at the next bridge. So, but at the minimum, it's like 3.5 miles. So I walk between 3 miles to 5 miles. Like I try to go every day. I'm
Good.
probably gonna go
Your body
today.
and your mind.
Yeah, and then it's also to work out the knee. Again, I'm trying to strengthen this knee. I might make a magical comeback, go to the
You've been
NBA or
doing like
something.
physical therapy?
Well, they canceled that for me.
They can't like do it.
You
I guess
can't.
not, right? I don't know.
Well, when they offered me that, I said, well, the same exercises are on YouTube, and I was like, I'm gonna save the money because that wasn't covered by the
Right.
insurance. And she was like, we can FaceTime, and I'm just like,
Like
I'll YouTube, I'll
I want
YouTube.
a massage. Like
Right, right.
well, that's good. Walking is wonderful and a really good suggestion. And the Charles is beautiful, and we're so lucky to live near it that we can
Right.
go there. Has it been crowded?
The 2 warm days was like disgustingly crowded. And so that's when I walk along in the middle of the grass like the weirdo. And, hood on, hat on, mask on, and I just walk through the grass and I'm dodging the trees. And then when it's time to cross the right, I look up when it's time to cross the bridge and I go over. Yeah.
At least you're being safe.
Right. I'm afraid of crowds right now. I don't want to take my chances. And I understand to some people it's not that serious, or to some it's very serious. For me, I'm like in the middle, but it's like I don't want to find out. Right. Everyone's body's been responding differently to it, and I don't want to know how mine will. Because I have family members that caught it and they can probably go run a marathon. I have family members that caught it and they, today they didn't make it, right? So I don't want to even see what it looks like if I'm ever in contact with it.
Me either. I've been staying out of crowds for sure. Oh my god, I barely leave the house. So, Asad, for those of you new watching the broadcast, I give all of my guests the opportunity to have the final word. So this is the guest's opportunity to be inspirational, vent, tell jokes, dance, sing, shout out their parents, do whatever they want. I put on sunglasses and I shut the hell up. So, Asad,
I wish
is yours.
Okay. Thank you, Kelly, for this floor. I like your sunglasses. I do I do want to say remain productive. Try to be as productive as you are. And productive doesn't necessarily mean, you got to go and work 1,000 hours. Sometimes it just means get up and do something different that you didn't do yesterday. And I think that'll help with staying sane and healthy during these times where we're very limited to activity. And if there is one thing you can do is, I speak to a lot of people and they're like, I'm bored. And I tell them, maybe it's not boredom. Maybe it's an opportunity to go think about some things, reflect on some things, or work on something. I don't know what drives everyone, but for friends that I have, that money drives them. I say, if you don't have $1 million, you can't be bored, right? For my friends that are carpenters, if you haven't built a house, you can't be bored, right? So I just think instead of recognizing the downtime as being bored, let's use it. Let's use the time to level up in any area of your life that you can. It doesn't have to be work. It doesn't have to be the sport you play. Maybe you want to read a little. Maybe you want to speak a little. I'll go in the mirror and speak to myself for an hour, right? It can be any area of life that you probably neglected when the world was moving at its regular pace. Go tap on it and see if we can level up. And a shout out shout out to MPDC for supporting all the wild ideas and stuff that I want to do. City of Boston, my parents, Louisa Martin, everyone watching, the love of my life, and my kid, my daughter, Sarai. I'm probably missing mad people, and they're like, why didn't he say my name? Right. I love everybody that calls my phone. Right. Go back, edit the comments. But, everyone I love everybody.
Those were wonderful parting words. Okay. Very, very good, insightful, take on boredom. I love that. I don't think that's been said yet on here. I want to thank you so much for taking time to do this with me today in this weird experiment. And I feel lucky that I get to talk to you and work with you every day.
Right. So. Yeah,
and thank you so much for real. This is great. No, and you're doing great things, and I'm excited for our future and your future.
Thank you for having me, Kelly.
For everyone that is watching now or later, thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for liking and commenting and sharing and waving and being awesome and putting up with us. I don't know why I'm doing this, but why are you doing this too? So whatever. We're all in this together, even though that's way overused. Today's Friday, which means I don't have any shows for the next 2 days, and I act like a piece of crap.
I do have one. I do have one more plug.
We have Grace Haller Murray, Rudy Rara Camacho. Everyone might know Rudy, bartending from GP. Ellie Sanchez, Boston City Councilor at Large, Anissa Asabi George. She's going to teach us how to make masks. She's made like 800 million of them at her shop in Dorchester. And Tess McColgan. So please tune in next week, and we'll have some more fun, and we will just sit and think about why this is all happening. I hope everyone has a great weekend. Asad, thank you again. I adore you. You are wonderful. Everyone, please wear a mask, wash your hands, stay home, stay healthy, stay sane, and rethink your boredom. Bye.